Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy MQS here. Hope the video is bright enough. This video is a bit later than planned. It's nearly 2 a.m. in the morning here in the UK already. I did plan to do it on Monday, but it's technically Tuesday now. But anyway, I hope you enjoy it. I was just thinking before I went live, I thought my cats normally, when I'm trying to type, focus on trying to make my videos and stuff like that, they sit on my lap and or distract me and try and press on the keyboard and stuff like that. And when I want them to be in the thumbnail, they seem to always be difficult. So it seems like they're doing it just to wind me up, but they are really cute, so I sort of let them off. But they are very mischievous. But anyway, on to the topic of the video. I thought of quite a few different ideas and different things I wanted to cover. I was even thinking of like covering the first sort of thoughts that come to my mind because I got so many, but some of them I might want to keep secret for now, at least. But yeah, so basically I would love to see Mediterranean teams, well, Mediterranean/Latin teams. Most of them are Latin, like Spanish, Italian, French, Portuguese and whatnot, but also teams like Turkish teams and whatnot doing well in European and international competitions, and especially in particular Italian teams who I dream will overtake the EPL, the English Premier League teams, and also the La Liga or Spanish teams. Now with Spain, it's a bit of a dilemma because I kind of love them because they're Mediterranean. I was going to say this is a bit biased of me because I support them just because I think I look Mediterranean with my Anglo-Indian background. So the combination, I suppose, of white and brown, I think makes me look more Mediterranean, and that's why I support those teams. So I think it's a bit, it's rather biased of mine, but I'd love to see Italian teams do well as I supported them ever since I was young. But with Spanish teams, it's a bit of a dilemma because they are sort of in competition with Italian teams, and I suppose they're a fair bit more successful than Italian teams so far in terms of I'm thinking of the trophies that have been won in European or international competitions. So I don't know how far Italy's Serie A is behind them. But because it's Italy's Unification Day on this Sunday, actually, this coming Sunday, I thought I would cover that. I'd love to see Italian teams be united, and given my obsession, iterations. I don't drink honest. This is tea in here. It's not whiskey, but I know I stumble on my words a lot of time. But lame attempts at humour aside, because it's Italy's Unification Day, as I say, I thought I would cover how I'd love for Italian teams to unite together, and like even though they're rivals when they play each other, as I mentioned a while back on my channel, I would love to see on my YouTube channel, I mentioned a while back how I would love to see it. Even though they're rivals when they play against each other in the league and in domestic trophies, competitions and whatnot, I would love to see them become united when they play against non-Italian teams, and even like Mediterranean, Middle Eastern and transcontinental, especially Eurasian, or including Eurasian nations. I would love to see them being united behind each other when they're playing against teams like English or German or Dutch or other such teams that are not Mediterranean, non-Mediterranean teams. Again, a bit biased on me just because I think I look Mediterranean and I supported them ever since I was young. But on the subject of Eurasian, I suppose there's two different types of Eurasians. Like one are like me, like Eurasians of a mixed European and Asian background, and the other type is like Eurasian nations, which are nations which are part in Europe and part in Asia. And I would love for, speaking of Eurasians, I would love for Eurasians, i.e. those of part European and part Asian descent, such as myself, to go to Italy and share our ideas to benefit Italian football and also benefit Celtic, and maybe even like Mediterranean and Middle Eastern and transcontinental and Eurasian nations themselves, but especially in particular Italian football teams. I'd love us to go and coach and showcase what we can contribute and help them to practice and things like that. and I hope we can help Italian teams to become the most successful in Europe and internationally, at both club and country level, I suppose, including youth level. I think it's cool that, I know I'm jumping from point to point, but I think it's cool that women are into football. But when it comes to football, I'm mainly concerned with the men's team. If I had a choice between the men's team winning the World Cup and the women's team winning the World Cup for Italy, it would be infinitely more important for the men's team to win, in my opinion, for me anyway. So I'd love to know what other people think about that. Though I think it is great that people of all different backgrounds are getting into football. And I think women's football is great and all that, but it's not as important to me as the men's game, or even the youth levels game, the youth teams game, the boys who are the future of the team and their practice. So I'd love to know how Italian football can become the most successful, and I'd love for my fellow Eurasians to help to be part of that journey. So I did mention how I'd love to. I was thinking about talking about the first thoughts that come to my mind. I know I'm not being very coherent. Sorry, I didn't plan it as well as I'd like, but I would love to work with Eurasians. One of the things I've been thinking about is, it's not a particularly new idea of mine, but it's an idea I had, I think, probably since last year. But I would love to work with my fellow Eurasians to bring together a community that goes, as I say, across Italy and works with those involved in Italian football to benefit Italian football, and also works with Celtic. And I have many ideas on that I don't want to go into too much detail in this video. Some of them might even be top secret, but also I don't want to make the video even more longer, because I know I have been waffling a bit. But I would love to travel to, as I say, one of the things I would love for us to do as a Eurasian group, if I can bring my fellow Eurasians to support me, is to travel to Italy and across Italy and even around the world to work with those involved in Italian football on top secret ideas that would benefit Italian football. I suppose that what I was going to say, and I suppose I can try and briefly cover this in this video, is that whichever, maybe even political party, business or religion or whatever that supports Italian football the most, I hope to return the favour and honour and acknowledge what they've done to benefit Italian football, anyone who does so, and find a way to return the favour if that's sharing information like what I talked before about, like 1, 2, or 1, or share or like for like and that kind of thing. So that was what I was gonna mention. But so I keep worrying that the cats are going to knock things over. But anyway, they're very boisterous. As I say, when I do want them in the thumbnail, I can't seem to get them to sit still. But when I'm trying to type or whatever, that's when they seem to hassle me a lot. But I'll say they're cute, so they get away with it. But as they say, cats are more affectionate than people think. Yeah, before I got cats, I thought they were very standoffish, but they are quite affectionate and that kind of thing. Anyway, back to the topic. So I was thinking, as I say, I'm behind schedule, but because it was a Monday, I was thinking of covering things like my dreams for AC Milan, Inter Milan, even their rivals, and Monza and Roma. Well, I know the other three begin with M, but also I want to work on my dreams for Roma on a daily basis. But I'd love to see how Italian teams can do well generally. And I suppose my dreams for AC Milan and Inter Milan, again, even though they're rivals, and Monza as well, is to see them have as much investment and sponsorship as possible and win as many trophies, preferably, well, in Europe and internationally, on behalf of Italian football. I suppose is what concerns me the most, because I suppose for normal football fans, other than strange people like myself, or unlike strange people like myself rather, they like to see their teams do well domestically. But for me, when it comes to Italian football, I love to see them do well in Europe and internationally. When it comes to Celtic, it's kind of almost the opposite in many ways, although I would also love to see them do well in Europe and internationally as well in the future. But yeah, so with teams like AC Milan and Inter Milan, I would love for them to be to have as much investment as possible and be co-owned by investors, investment vehicles, and investors generally, which begin with the same letter. So based on alliterations. And again, when Italian teams play non-Italian teams, I would love for them to unite together, even though they're rivals, even rival teams like AC Milan, Inter Milan, Lazio, and Roma and whatnot. Whenever an Italian team plays a non-Italian team, I would love to see the Italian team win. But yeah, this video has gone on quite long, so I'm probably going to try and cover anything I didn't manage to cover in this video, just because I don't want it to be even more long. I'm going to try and cover it, I suppose, technically today when I wake up, all being well. But yeah, I'll try and plan it a bit better and be more coherent. But I hope you enjoyed hearing my mad thoughts, even though I've probably been a bit incoherent and not planned it as well as I like. I'm jumping from point to point and that kind of thing. But yeah, I'm wondering what points to cover and what points not to cover, because I don't want it to be too long. And you probably know why I cover things in list form in many cases now. But I'd love to know what you think as ever. Do you think I sound like I'm drunk or druggy or whatever? I promise I'm neither of those things for what it's worth. But whatever floats your boat. Anyway, I'm out. Peace and love.